Good evening and welcome to the Late Night News. I'm Subhan and I will be your host for tonight's program where we will be discussing the topic of sleep deprivation and its effects. Joining us tonight are our panel experts Mr. Sluter, Mr. Wonderchick, and Mr. Duarte, who will be providing us with expert analysis on the topic. We hope you enjoy the program and stay till the end with us. Starting with our panel experts, Mr. Sluter, welcome and thank you for joining us here tonight. Could you please start with your introduction into the topic of sleep deprivation and providing your analysis on the topic, please?
Good evening. I'm Jackson Sluter. Today, sleep deprivation. According to NCOA, affects on average 50 to 70 million Americans. If that's not bad enough, this number is only rising. In today's fast-paced world, sleep seems to be the first casualty. With the demands of work, school, and endless scrolling through screens, people find themselves sacrificing more and more valuable shut-eye. However, the consequences of this growing trend are far more grave than simply feeling drowsy the next morning. The effects of sleep deprivation on mental and physical health cannot be over-exaggerated. Studies show that sleeping less than the recommended 7 to 8 hours leads to a multitude of health issues, including diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and a weakened immune system. Additionally, chronic sleep deprivation, or long-term sleep deprivation, is linked to an increased risk of mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety, and even Alzheimer's disease. Getting less than the recommended not only disrupts your sleep schedule, but also your blood sugar levels, with a nearly 25% increase in glucose and insulin. Imbalances like this can lead to either type 2 diabetes, having too little insulin, or hypoglycemia, having too much insulin. Probably one of the most alarming consequences is the toll on cognitive function. Studies show that sleep plays a critical role in memory retention and learning. When deprived of sleep, it impairs a person's ability to focus, concentrate, and absorb information around them. As I said, this is a growing issue affecting more and more Americans, and this can not only destroy our bodies, but also how we conduct ourselves at work, school, and daily life. And now, back to Subhan.
Thank you for the thorough and detailed analysis, Mr. Sluter. Moving along to our next panel expert, Mr. Wonderchick. Welcome and we're pleased to have you here tonight. Adding on to Mr. Sluter's analysis, could you please provide us with your research and thoughts on the topic of sleep deprivation?
Hello, this is Josiah Wondercheck. By now I'm sure most of you are aware or at least have some general idea of the risks and damage that sleep deprivation has on health, both physically and mentally. What I would like to talk about is the negative effects that it has when applied to education, specifically its role in the success of college students and its role in driving and the dangers it holds there. Now, with the common lifestyle and demands of a college education in mind, it should come as no surprise that most students are not receiving adequate sleep. According to the University of Michigan's Department of Neurology, 50% of college students report having daytime sleepiness and 70% report insufficient sleep. Now, it's interesting to note that regarding the consequences of this lack of sleep, students are quite aware of the damage that comes with it, as students rank sleeping problems as the second most negatively impactful factor on academic performance, just behind stress. Now, this opinion is one that is also shared by a large portion of students, as 82% reported that sleepiness and inadequate sleep impacted their educational performance. Now, as far as research on all this goes from the University of Michigan, these claims show to be valid. The specific correlations found between sleep issues and academic success are lower GPAs, increased risk of academic failure, and a decline of learning and memory ability. Now, regarding students' GPA, while it was found that students who attained 9+ hours of sleep had a higher GPAs than students who obtained 6 hours or less of sleep, with a difference of 3.24 GPA average for long sleepers versus 2.74 for short sleepers respectively, it should be noted that considering all the variety of factors playing into it, it's hard to state whether or not sleep deprivation has a complete correlation with GPA. But oddly, the strongest correlation found between sleep and GPA was that students who went to bed earlier and woke up earlier had higher GPAs than those that stayed up later and slept in longer. Now, all this to say, there still is certainly a connection between a lack of sleep and performance in education, of which I think all students should obviously be aware of and attempt to avoid. Now, another area significantly affected by lack of sleep that also relates back to college students is in driving. Now, as you might imagine, combining the impairments of sleep deprivation into a potentially highly dangerous task, such as driving, does not make for a good combination. Yet, it's a problem that's all but too common. In fact, according to a Scientific Reports article published by a group of experts in psychology with the Turner Institute for Brain and Mental Health. In the United States, it's estimated that drowsiness makes up nearly 21% of all fatal motor vehicle crashes and 13% of severe injury crashes. Now, additionally, younger individuals are found to be at greater risks while driving under sleep deprivation. They exhibit stronger symptoms from drowsiness and have been linked to an increase in lane departures, deviations in speed, longer brake response time, and overall increase in near crash events. As a large portion of students here in the US drive to classes, obviously the presence of sleep deprivation becomes concerning, and it's an area that everyone should be aware of. It's better to stay at home and catch up on your rest than attempt to go out on the road and endanger not only you, but also everyone around you that shares the road with you. All that to say, it's important to be mindful of the risks that come with sleep deprivation. Back to you, Stepan.
Mr. Wonderchick, thank you for your research and key facts on sleep deprivation. To further elaborate on sleep deprivation and its effects, we have a short visual representation prepared for you, and we will be right back with you after this short ad.
People work so hard on their physical health, but many forget about the most important thing, and that is sleep. Sleep is one of the most important aspects of our lives, and it doesn't get the attention it deserves. A lack of sleep can lead to poor performance at school, in the workplace, or as an athlete. Being tired can also increase the chances of workplace accidents. Having a healthy amount of sleep leads to improved performance as well as better brain health, moods, and overall well-being. Far too many people disregard the value of sleep. Don't be one of them.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. We hope you've enjoyed the program so far. Moving on to our last panel expert, Mr. Duarte, who will be providing us with prevention methods as well as resolutions for sleep deprivation. Mr. Duarte, welcome, and thank you again for joining us here tonight. Could you please share with us your prevention methods as well as your research on resolution for sleep deprivation?
Thank you, Subhan, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in and staying with us. As our final segment of the program, I will be discussing on how to identify sleep deprivation and actions to take in order to prevent it from happening to yourself. Now, some ways to see if someone is sleep deprived is if they have more daytime sleepiness than normal, if they are constantly fatigued, more irritable than normal, and even have trouble thinking or being able to focus on something. If a person you know is showing these symptoms, then it is best to ask if they are getting enough sleep or if something is going on in their personal life. Now, how can we prevent these from happening? Well, my number one answer would be to manage your sleeping times by changing your sleep-related behaviors and pre-sleep routine. It's important to have a positive attitude and a clear mind before we're going to sleep, because heading to bed with a negative attitude and built-up stress just leads to restless sleep and the feeling of still being tired when waking up the following morning. And believe me, we all hate that. Another would be medications to either help fall asleep or even stay asleep. However, constantly relying on these sleep medications such as melatonin or NyQuil can build up a dependency and will cause your body to be unable to sleep unless you've taken such medications. So I urge you to take only when you need it. Other options would be tea, stretching, or something that can help clear your mind. But just remember that sleep all depends on you, and you must remember to have a routine. Make time to sleep, avoid eating or drinking close to bedtime, and never, ever depend on sleeping medications. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Mr. Duarte, for your helpful and expert solutions on sleep deprivation. And again, I thank you all for staying with us till the end of the program. To conclude, we will be having a live question and answer session with our panel experts and the audience. And I hope you've enjoyed the program and have learned beneficial and important information in regards to sleep deprivation. Till next time, take care and have a good day.